This presentation is twofold. I intend giving the background to what community games is in Ireland. Dr. Nazi will then come forward and give his ideas and version of how the sponsorship deal works with us. The presentation will explain the rationale and reasons why that HSE funds the community games, how that funding is used, the cost-benefit analysis, and the expected outcomes. I am also conscious here this morning that I am one of the first speakers that is going to dedicate my talk here to youth and youth involvement. We are a youth-based organisation set up and established in 1967 in Dublin, in Ireland, and has gone to strength in communities all over the country. Our motto is a healthy mind and a healthy body. We are a volunteer-led organisation providing sporting and cultural opportunities for young people from the age of 6 right up to the age of 16 across the whole of Ireland. We are mainly based on participation rather than competition, which is something that marries well here with ESCA and their aims as well. We're organised at local community level right up to a national level, and we will have over 200,000 children participate annually in our community games activities from a grassroots level. Our list of events includes over 50 sporting and cultural activities, and basically we are a multi-sport organisation, aware that I am not used to working like this. We have approximately 10,000 volunteers involved in the running of the regular activities and competitions provided at both area level right up to national level. And I, as President, am also a volunteer, but we do have a head office that will employ 5 people, which includes administration staff and development workers, which go out and work throughout the country promoting our ideas. As you can see, we're a fund-based organisation as well, and as I said at the start, participation and fun is the basis. And as you can see there in the fire photograph, even the President can join in the fun and games as well. That was an attempt to break the world sacred's participation, but sadly we failed. As the HSE are now our major sponsor at the minute, our previous sponsors, as you can see listed there, and some of them might be familiar to you, were the Electricity Supply Board, the people who supply electricity through the country, Ryanair, the well-known local airline before they became as famous as what they are, the Credit Union of Ireland, Fanta, which is a soft drinks company, and Tato, which were the providers of snack foods. They all were very good sponsors to us through the years. We had great benefits from them, but as you know, with sponsorship, it has a life shelf, and sponsors tend to move on, not for the reason that they don't want to sponsor you anymore, but they feel they've got their work ready for you. We're also funded by the Irish Sports Council, and local areas and local communities would raise their own sponsorship and will be sponsored by private companies and whatnot. But where we are at the minute is with the Health Service Executive, or the HSE. And they are responsible for the provision of healthcare, providing health and personal and social services for everyone living in Ireland with public funds. Now, this relationship between the community games and the HSE is a very natural alliance. The alliance is based on agreed mutual objectives and goals underpinned by shared values. Both organisations emphasise the importance of providing accessible, appropriate, enjoyable, active and healthy opportunities for children to participate in activities in their local communities. The sponsorship funding from the HSE acts as a catalyst to enable and facilitate the work of the volunteers throughout the organisation by supporting health promotion initiatives, including training, grants and support for the delivery of our national finals. As you can see, we are committed to providing the best possible experience for our young people who participate in our activities and events as participants and volunteers. And once again, I will repeat our motto, a healthy mind and a healthy body, which captures perfectly how we wish to see our young people grow and prosper while partaking in appropriate, enjoyable, safe and healthy sporting and cultural pursuits. We endeavour to inform and educate all our volunteers and children on health-related issues. We aim to raise awareness of behaviour that impacts on all our health. We encourage participation in activities in a positive atmosphere with a fair and healthy competition. We disseminate information on policies, for example, the health promotion, the healthy eating, anti-bullying, social inclusion and integration policies, which are backed by our sponsor, the HSE. And examples of this at both a national level and at our national events. At our national events and at our local events, healthy food is only provided for volunteers and children, and we encourage them to take part in the healthy eating programme. Again, with our ideal is to encourage anti-smoking, and our volunteers have to agree to abide by our code of conduct, which includes acceptance of all health and welfare related policies. Through the help and assistance of the HSE, with leaflets and other pamphlets, information is distributed on child protection, healthy eating, integration and inclusion. And the health service executives provide representatives at different events to provide guidance and information on these best practices. That would be a run-through of what we are about, where we get our funding, maybe how we have arrived at the funding with the HSE will be explained in more detail by Dr. Nazi, what benefits that he sees his organisation getting out of the partnership. But I can tell you from my perspective within Community Games, it's a well worth partnership. That's not to say the other partnerships we had weren't working, they were working, but we feel in the organisation at the minute, and I'm not trying to put any pressure on Dr. Nazi, it is working, so please keep going. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks, Jerry, as well. I want to start actually with something unusual, because I want to thank the organisers for choosing the right colours. Have you noticed? They have orange, they have green, and they have white. What are they? They are Ireland. So thank you very much. This is Ireland. It's a very small place at the edge of Europe, as you can see. It has a population of less than 4.5 million, so it's not a big place. But as you can see, I chose a specific map because it has there trails. You can walk it, yeah. You can cycle it, you can even bus it, and I'll allow you every now and again to drive a car. But you can't do it from here. You have to be there. This is the country of the 1,000 welcomes, so you are welcome to come and visit us. I am not going to, because I don't have a kind of a magic formula to tell you secrets or anything like that. I don't have any secrets. I also thank all the previous speakers yesterday and today, because they said an awful lot of things that I would have said, but they said it for me much more eloquently. So, thank you very much. Just to put it in context, what I'm going to talk is move on to say what strategies we are doing and taking to alleviate that burden of ill health on us, and then to explain the relationship with the community games and how it's working out. So the Health Service Executive is basically the government or the national health service, so it's like any other health service in the world that the government provides. It funds all the hospital services, funds all the primary and community services, and it looks at the population health as well. It is administered in 4 areas. They are not the provinces, because one of our provinces is still UK-based, well, part of it at least. But you know, we have it still divided into 4 areas, and it administered in 4 areas. It is important to say that because even if it is small, it is worth actually having it a much better kind of planned. From a population health point of view, we are reviewing the public health policy, and we want to kind of do something different from a health perspective. Health services throughout the world, and Ireland is no except, you know, we fund a huge churches of ill health, i.e. hospitals. We fund thousands of doctors and nurses, and we want to change that a bit. So we actually would like to value more health than kind of the treatment and that aspect of it. So we're looking at the moment at this model, which is familiar to, I hope, everybody here, and looking at what we can do in order to change that. And you can see that there are things that are modifiable and there are things that they are not. In the middle, the non-modifiable aspects are very small. The second aspect of it in red is a little bit dependent on individuals and their lifestyle, and they have a contribution to make. Then it's the social group and community networks that govern all of our lifestyles. And you can see on the left-hand side there, the healthcare services in the blue section. They have a contribution to make, but it is not as big as people normally would think. And invariably, and health economists will help me there, they will contribute between 10 and 15% to our health. The rest of it is generated outside the health system altogether, whether it is related to education, to law enforcement, to employment, to housing, and so on. Those are the ones that dictate how much health do we have. So we want to contribute still in relation to the illness and treatment, and if I have my heart attack, I want the best doctor in the world, but equally we have, and we must, target how to prevent the heart attack in the first place. So that's why we're doing that in this way. And we're hoping by the end of this year we'll have our strategy. The reason is obvious. Okay. If you look at the burden of ill health on any health system, you can see that the majority of it is chronic diseases. I think you can see from there that, you know, if you look only at cardiovascular health, and it is, you know, massive, 40% contributing to the burden of ill health. But cardiovascular disease and circulation, actually, in the name is preventable. If you look at cancers, it contributes 33%. Okay? Most of cancer is actually preventable. So we have to address that element of it in a really a different way. Yes, we have a cancer policy, we have the building healthier hearts, and so on. And I would like actually to take the heart disease specifically as a case for you to show you that it is possible to do. It is possible to actually change the way that we do things. In the early 90s, we actually decided to have a strategy. And yes, there is a lot of our treatment and hospitals and ICUs and so on. But you can see that we started to also look at other aspects of it. And gradually, the top line is Ireland, and the bottom line is the EU average. Still higher than the EU average, but you can see it's a good story because the lines are going in conversion. What we found, and that is a study that done independently by the Institute of Public Health, where we found that 52% of that decline was contributed to basically health promotion and disease prevention aspect of it. What I mean by the disease prevention, and is that if you look at these four elements in this slide, you can see we don't, I hope you agree, massive favor to the whole world, but specifically to the Irish people in Ireland, in relation to smoking. Because we were one of the first countries of the world to ban smoking in all workplaces. We didn't stop that there, because currently we have a tobacco control framework which will make it also all health campuses tobacco-free. It's a World Health Organization initiative as well, which we support vehemently. So what we achieved in this is basically to reduce it from 32% of smokers now, well, this is 2007, unfortunately, but now it has been reduced to less than 24%. So you can see that it really does work. That's just an example. I mean, in addition to my role in Ireland as the national lead on obesity, obesity without a shadow of a doubt, and you've seen some figures yesterday that it is becoming a huge problem. And in Ireland, it is a massive problem because 2 out of 3 adults are either obese or overweight. 2 out of 3. In children, it is extremely worrying. And because of what we say, what is everybody knows is that the risk of childhood obesity transferring to adult obesity is huge, then we have to start working with the children as well. And my minister, it's a new minister, because it was elected only in May, he felt strongly about it, and he established now a special action group on obesity, which he himself chairs. And I'm hoping that it will really do the business. There are mainly 2 aspects that we're looking at it from that perspective, and that is the healthy eating and the physical activity. And the healthy eating, probably like the rest of the countries, we have a healthy eating guidelines, we have a new pyramid, it is not a plate like in the USA, we have published that, it is evidence-based because the Food Safety Authority of Ireland have checked the scientific basis for it. So we're happy that we are addressing that to a large extent. In relation to the physical activity, well, you've seen some of the information earlier in relation to the level of physical activity. Well, it's only 1/3 of the adult population that's 16 and over that actually conform with the guidelines for active living. And basically, our aim is to change that, so to increase both the the percentage, i.e. more people, but also to increase the intensity of the physical activity itself. We also have a strategy in relation to inactivity, because inactivity is also a risk factor. And inactivity in its own right is something that we should be addressing. I was delighted to hear Pedro and see him in action and trying to actually tell us. Because you don't have to conform always to the guidelines, but you can do a little bit. So we can reduce the inactivities still more and more. Okay. And I want to tell you something else. Okay. You probably know that a great Irish writer, philosopher, some of my colleagues here from the UK will claim he's also a Brit. He's not. He lives actually at the moment in a grave in North Paris. Did you hear me? Yes, he lives in a grave, so he's dead. Okay. His name is Oscar Wilde. What did he say was? He said, if a thought of physical activity comes into my mind, I shall immediately lie down until it passes away. And that's the motto we have in Ireland for a long, long time. So it is a big job, and hopefully it is going to really do the not against innovation. We are not against progress and development. Absolutely not. But that confusion at the edge have made us go backward rather than forward in relation to our own health. And we must address that. I am delighted to hear that now Microsoft and others are really working on that and producing games that we could actually do that. This is a fantastic one. This is really a fantastic one. Okay, I have thousands of people in Ireland driving their SUVs, the four-wheel drive vehicles, to the gyms, and then when they arrive there, on top of the fact that they have been driving to there, okay, they have also escalators, okay, when they have a free exercise machine beside them. They have free machine exercise on the road as well. So this epitomizes basically what is, did I say it, Mr. Horst, that my work in relation to ISCA and the sport, the gym, the goals, i.e. football, soccer, and so on and so forth. This is what my fear. I wanted to become more active, okay, everywhere, every day, and anywhere. So, I'll just go back a little bit to reality, as they say, and just tell you that in order to make that happen, okay, we're working with the industry, yes, okay, we support them, and I have information from my friend from Ligia in Spain, in Catalonia, that yes, we have also GP prescription, and he sends people to the gyms as well, so we're not against gyms, okay. But we have now a health promotion strategic framework that wants to change the community, the education system, and the health services. And you're welcome to have a look at it. It's on the Department of Health website, and have a look at that. It was fantastic. I talked to you about the health eating guidelines, and we have our own food pyramid. The framework for action on obesity is our national strategy. It has 93 actions, and I am pleased to tell you that from 93 actions, only one hasn't been achieved. So we're working on achieving that. And what was the one that we haven't achieved? And that's the training of doctors and nurses. Because they are trained to treat, they are not trained to prevent. By the way, I'm a medical doctor, so I know I was trained in the same way. So now we have a physical activity guidelines from 2009. But in order to demonstrate what I said earlier in relation to the promotion of activity and so on, I would like our host, if they could actually link us to get out and active. It's a simple idea, I know, and I am a simple person, so I don't really have a cerebral idea kind of things, and I don't have panaceas. That's all what it is. It's a map, isn't it? And I should have said that the referee is sitting there and giving me time, but if I take the cards from him, he can't. Should I do that? Yeah. So if you go to anywhere, let's go to Kerry, because it's a nice area to go to, okay? What do you find? You find actually, if I'm going to Kerry today, and I have my children with me, I will see that there are really a lot of activities in that area. And if I live there as well, I will have a look and see activities in that area. If I'm not sure about what it is and so on, I want more detail, I just go to one of these boxes. Yeah, that's a good one. In fact, junior group golf coaching. Okay, so if we go there and we can get details in relation to that, we'll look at this. You can get whether it is what time, where is it, and so on. Is it insured? Because I want to make sure that I'm safe as well. How much does it cost me? You know, it tells you all that. And where is the contact? And you can get the contact, talk to that person, and get it. So simple. We now have more than 15,000 activities on that. And we're working now with the industry to put also all their programs as well on that. So if somebody wants to pay, why not? They can still get the information. So it's a simple program, it's a simple thing, and really it gives you all the information that you want. So there are no excuses. We have today an awful lot of people now, the biggest excuses are two. One is I don't like sport, and the other one is I can't afford it. So you have the answer here. You can actually now don't go for excuses. I mean, there are lots of other facilities on it for people to actually have a look and so on. But it doesn't matter what it is, you'll always find it there. Okay, so that's what it is. And I'll go back and say that on top of all of that, we're having a physical activity plan. And a physical activity plan, you need partners. Because without the contribution from the Department of Education, Department of Transport, Department of Local Government, and we have special departments as well for the Ireland and so on and so forth. And if you don't have the NGVs, then you do not get a holistic, integrated plan. And we're hoping that this will be a holistic and integrated plan. It is going to be launched very shortly, so I don't have the details on that. But in line with what I'm saying, okay, so the importance of community games partnership. Why the HSE, why the National Health Service should contribute to that? Well, if you look at that, you can see that it is, oh my God, you can see that we have a fit between our own ideas, between our own vision, and between the practice. And more importantly, there is a fit with our ideology. Invest in young people in order to reduce the risk, not only today, but for the future. So it's a long-term vision. We also felt that through the work with them, we can actually influence their policies in relation to health, and Jerry have mentioned some of those policies. I think more importantly than anything else, it's that fun element. We actually producing happiness. So young people who are not competitive in nature can participate, can enjoy, and can do an awful lot of things with us. The other thing is that is another compliment, that's a fact. Okay, this is an established organization, has been for a long time with us. It covers 200,000 children. I know all of you know that as well, that Ireland is a young country with young population. Okay, but to achieve 200,000 in any goal is just phenomenal. Furthermore, they also really have a fantastic thing in relation to having volunteers. 10,000 is an underestimate. It's much bigger than 10,000. Okay, and you can see how the children love it. That's what it's all about. And it's not about a kind of competition as much as participation and so on. Yes, we give money. Yeah. Without money, the world doesn't work. I mean, we all need it. We all have it to a large and small extent. But that is it. We have to give money. We give expertise. We give also support in relation to policy development and in relation to standards and so on and so forth. Okay. And another why we do it is because the people who participate today are the ambassadors tomorrow. We have Sonia O'Sullivan, we have Jimmy here, who is in the athletic group for going to the Olympics. We have Niall Quinn, who was playing soccer on the national level, and so on. They all come back to support it because they believe in the, basically, the children, they have to participate before they form their interest. They might interest in football or basketball or anything like that, but they don't know how good they are until they participate. We give them that opportunity, and that's what the community games is doing. Okay, so this is the evaluation. We're carrying out an independent evaluation, and it just says what's on the tin. We got exactly what we were asking for. So, you know, what else would you do in that case? You continue to do that. You could skip the next one because we already talked about it. The challenge is to aim high, as this young man was doing. Okay, the challenges are still high. Okay, because you know about financial situation in Ireland. It's also Europe as well, but in Ireland in particular, it is difficult, and therefore, you know, there is a problem there. You know about the fact that we are becoming a multicultural society, so we have to continue with that and develop that and so on. But also we have to develop a partnership. Now, I want to finish with this one. my house already empty me a red card, but I'm not an obstinate person, so I'm going to continue that. This is what we used to do. This is what we were. This describes us very accurately, okay? I'm confident that with the right mix of role-playing exercises and prescription medication, we'll make it cohesively. Well, we are not going to do that anymore. We're going to change. This is a white brigade, with a white coat brigade, and we are not going to do that. So, like Pedro, I'm going to ask you to do an exercise with me. Will you raise your right hand? Just right hand. It doesn't matter how high. Okay? Try to clap with one hand. Yeah, you can hear, but how good is that? How good is that? Sometimes you try to clap with two hands, but it is not coordinated. So you go like this. If you do it properly, i.e. in cooperation with others, in cooperation with the people that you meet, in partnership and so on, and in a coordinated way, you get the best results. You deserve a clap. Thank you. We'll try and get, again, another program called Be Active After School Activity. And that is basically it's after the school. It again dependent on volunteers, and it is no exaggeration to say that without them we couldn't really run, but it is running. And the third one was what we call the Smart Start, because they are invariably dealing with children of the post-primary schools. So we wanted to go down further. And we have the Smart Start, which is working with all the play schools and creches and so on in relation to increasing that. So that's how it came about. So we went to the community games and said, okay, how do we work with them? And how do we do it and so on? And one thing that they needed was a new sponsor. So we worked it out with new sponsorship.